What's up, noobs and noobettes? Welcome to GameHead Now. My name is Johnny, and thank you for joining us on this Tuesday, September 13th, 2016. Now, I just want to start off first by saying happy belated video game day to everyone. I forgot about it yesterday because I'm a dumbass. I guess I'm not a real true gamer when it comes down to it. Alright, so today we got a bunch of news to talk about. Um, the first topic was actually a late breaking story from last night. The story popped up not a half an hour, 45 minutes after I recorded and posted yesterday's show. Um, to me, it's a pretty big deal. And to anyone who has played in the past, is playing, or is thinking about playing any Blizzard game. Yes, this is another Blizzard story because this is a pretty big deal. Um, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into this. That member of their team, Mr. Chris Metzen, has retired. And for those of you who are wondering, who's Chris Metzen? Well, this dude, let's just say that the Warcraft story is his love child. That's really the only way to put it. Most of the lore of all of Warcraft has come from that dude's mind. And a lot of uh, characters, for instance, they talk about Soldier 76 from Overwatch. I know we got to have some Overwatch fans out there. Um, was actually based on a creation of his as well. But this was, like I said, this was really big news. He was really known for two big things, were his speeches that he held at BlizzCon, which is Blizzard's huge convention that they have every year. And he was also known for molding the worlds of Warcraft, StarCraft, Diablo, and Overwatch. Um, yeah, he's in this article they refer to him that he is Blizzard's daddest dad to ever dad, who is tied only with Overwatch's Soldier 76. To, like it says, it's a creation of his as well. Um, Now he in the forums yesterday. I believe it was on World of Warcraft's forums, which is where he's really synonymous with. Like World of Warcraft and Chris Metzen go together like peanut butter and jelly. There's just no other way to put it with him. Um, Now, he did explain in a really lengthy post. There's a little bit here about it, so I'm just going to read a quick two-paragraph section from his lengthy post. If you do want to check out his post, you can find it in the World of Warcraft forums, but if you just go to worldofwarcraft.com, I believe on their homepage there's a link. There actually might even be a link somewhere on this article. Yes, there is. I will post it in the description down below for if anyone wants to go take a look at that. But essentially, here's what it says. Quote, "The reason I use the word retire is because I'm not going to some other company or starting up new projects or anything remotely like that. It's been a long, amazing stretch of years. Now it's time to slow it down. Rest. Lay on the couch and get fat. Well, fatter. Serious though, I will be focusing on the one thing that matters most to me in all the world, my family. They're the core of my life and the source of my deepest joy and inspiration. In addition to raising our 2 little ones, we recently welcomed our new baby into the family. Grats, Metzen. Being home with them all, having time and space to really live, to love my wife with all my strength, that's my career now. I gotta give props to him, man. Uh, while on one hand, it's sad to see him go because we know how much he has influenced Blizzard games and the lore and all the story that Warcraft and other Blizzard games has to offer. He will be missed, but you know, to retire and do that for your family, I really do think that that takes priority. But um, you will be missed, Mr. Metzen. Thumbs up and congrats on the new baby. And I know I can speak for a lot of us out there saying, we wish you the best in your future. And thank you for all of the great times that you have helped create in gaming. Thank you. So moving on, our next story has to do with the company Valve, who owns Steam, and this has to do with Steam. Steam is changing their reviews on their site and marketplace. Essentially, what they're doing is if you don't buy a game directly through their marketplace, when you post a review, it won't be counted to the overall score, which is a load of horseshit, if you ask me. Now, I understand they're doing this to combat fake reviews and reviews from publishers themselves that are going in there and giving it such high praise, and I get that. Now, but I don't think this is a real way of doing that. And it's making a lot of developers angry. So, say you buy a game from a third-party site like Bundle Stars. That's a website I have used in the past to buy bundles of games. Like you can buy 3-4 games together for a discount. But what they do is when you buy it from them, they email you the Steam keys for them. And then you go into your Steam app and you put the key in there, and then it unlocks it and adds it to your library of games. So essentially, if I did that and wanted to leave a review on that game, I would no longer be able to. Well, okay, I'd be able to leave the review, but it would not be counted towards the overall score, which essentially means it doesn't matter. Now, that can hurt developers big time. If developers aren't getting the count from these people who may not be buying it directly from Steam and Valve, it might not get all of the praise that it genuinely deserves. Now, I understand that this is to combat abuse of the review system, because there is a lot of abuse. I understand that there is a lot of crap that goes on, especially, like I said, with developers, people that are just going in there to talk shit on it and whatnot. But they had a explanation in the article that I really agree on. They said that a situation like this needs a surgical knife to go into and be very precise on what you're cutting out of it. But what Valve is doing instead is just carpet bombing the fuck out of the whole thing. And it doesn't make sense. Why not do something like a a review process. Like when you leave the review, Steam has to review the review. God, I sound like that meme exhibit. Yo, dog, I heard you like reviews. But anyways, um, where they would have to review it and just to look to make sure that this isn't a publisher of the game or something along those lines, uh, and then accept it or deny it. Um, I just think that it could be handled in a different way. Now, um, there is a quote here from Valve regarding this change of policy, and it says, quote, an analysis of games across Steam shows that at least 160 titles have a substantially greater percentage of positive reviews by users that activated the product with a CD key compared to customers that purchased the game directly on Steam. There are, of course, legitimate reasons why this could be true for a game. Some games have strong audiences off Steam, and some games have passionate early adopters or Kickstarter backers that are much more invested in the game. But in many cases, the abuse is clear and obvious, such as duplicated and or generated reviews in large batches or reviews from accounts linked to the developer. In those cases, we've now taken action by banning the false reviewers and will be ending business relationships with developers that continue violating our rules. Now, when you hear that, in theory, it sounds like a good idea. But when you really think about how this could affect not only the developers, but the games themselves, in my opinion, it seems like the negatives override the positives. While, yes, you keep out the crap and the developers that really should not have a say in reviewing these games because they're not the general public. But there are still people that get the games away from this marketplace, a lot of times cheaper, or if they are backers of the Kickstarter that get the keys from the developers, they're getting screwed out of their opinion. They're essentially telling them, you didn't buy from us, so your opinion doesn't matter, which is crap. I think, yes, there has to be a way to combat this abuse and all of the bull that goes along with it, but you can't exclude a group from it just because they purchased it in a different location. I just think this is a bad move by Steam, or by Valve, excuse me, that is affecting more people in a negative way than it is helping the community and these games in a positive way. I just don't understand it. Okay, so moving on, our next topic is about a game by my all-time favorite game developer, by the name of Mr. Hideo Kojima. And yes, of course, I am talking about Death Stranding. It was said today, very early this morning. Now, I'm guessing, because Tokyo Game Show is, I don't remember if it started today or if it's within the next few days, but I'm guessing it has to do something being in Tokyo. Not only is Mr. Kojima Japanese, but I believe the Kojima Studios has, are they? I can't recall now if they're headquartered in Japan or the United States. Either way, it would make sense that they were in Japan and this was on Japan time because it was about 4 a.m. when this story broke. But essentially, it has come out to know that it is now has an open world and online elements. And this is very exciting to know this. Now, as most of you know, the last game Mr. Kojima made was The Phantom Pain, the last installment of Metal Gear Solid, and which also had an open world, which, in my opinion, was phenomenal. Uh, the story was, but the world itself, the open world itself, was just on point, and that's why I have very high expectations for this one, considering a lot of his team is made up of former Kojima Productions, which he did keep the name, so it's just Kojima Productions to Kojima Productions. But his prior Kojima Productions team under Konami, fuck them. So I have really high hopes for this because they've done the open world in the past, and I think they really nailed it with it. He says that it's an action game with an open world, giving you a degree of freedom, but it also has those story elements that you learned to expect from a game from him. It does have an online element, but they didn't reveal how large or what that online element is. They didn't say if it's co-op or PvP or what it is. He also added that most games have people going at each other like very aggressively, and said that action games developed as players facing off against a computer, which then was followed by players battling online. And then that eventually turned into co-op against the computer, but still battling. And then he went on to say Death Stranding will have the action and combative elements, but wants the game to create links, strands, if you will, between players, instead of just having them try to knock each other down. He says, quote, "I'm aiming for a new type of action." He also then says, with Death Stranding, I like to offer the next step, the future of gaming. And while this could be his biggest departure yet from his normal style, I'm very intrigued to see what this game is going to bring us. There's so little known about it right now because he's just now got an engine for the game since when he left Konami. The Fox engine that he used in Metal Gear Solid 5 that he actually designed, which, by the way, if any of you guys play Pro Evolution Soccer, that engine is now being used in that game as well. It's a phenomenal engine. I really, really like it. But, again, it's Konami's property, so he couldn't use it on his new game. So, there's been rumors circulating on what engine he's using. Last I heard, it was the engine from Sucker Punch, something like that. Now, I can't confirm nor deny that. It's all essentially just rumors at this point. Until I hear it from Kojima-san's mouth, I won't. I have to take everything with a grain of salt. Um, Now, while game engine isn't as important as gameplay or story, it does have a big effect on the game. Like, it's going to affect the style and how it's played. Like, you have your a lot of games that run the Unreal 4 engine and the Unity 5 engine, which both are free for anyone. If you want, you can go out and download the Unreal 4 engine. Like, I have it on my computer, as I like to dabble in level design. I've gotten pretty good at designing levels. My only issue with that is I don't know how to make. I'm not a 3D artist, so I don't have my own meshes to put into them. But that's not important right now. Getting back on subject here, I don't know for sure if that story of his engine coming from Sucker Punch Games is true or not. So, Death Stranding is a game that I've been keeping a very close watch on. Because he's my favorite designer, game developer, I definitely have been following this closer and closer. And it's really cool that him and Norman Reedus teamed up again after the failed Silent Hills game that was supposed to be released from Konami, but they canceled. So it's just gonna have to keep our eyes out on this game because it's very intriguing. There's a lot of mystery surrounding it still. Like, we don't know jack shit, and that's always been Kojima's style. Like, he's gonna keep everything hidden from you until, like, well, people are pretty smart and they end up picking it up. Like when they showed the first Phantom Pain trailer, they didn't market it as a Metal Gear game until someone saw. All it said on the title was the Phantom Pain. It didn't say Metal Gear Solid, but someone literally figured out by the gaps in the words the Phantom Pain. Like, if you look at the title, I actually have it right here. If you look how the Phantom Pain is written, see how the Metal Gear Solid letters go through it. Now, those letters were cut out in the trailer, and someone literally figured out where those gaps were that Metal Gear Solid 5 fit into it. People figure this shit out, so essentially, yeah. So we're just gonna have to keep our eyes out on that one. Our next topic comes from Japan itself. Just a real quick thing. I kind of thought this might show up. Again, coming from Japan, Tokyo Game Show. I don't know if it started yet. I just want to reiterate that. If it has, then I've missed everything up to this point, and I'll have to dive into that to see if there's been any new announcements or anything, or if it's all just been... Now, granted, there's going to be news that comes out from it, but I don't know if any of the footage we're going to see or any news from the games are just going to be rehashed, or if they're going to be new. But yeah, this little piece of news is pretty cool. It has to do with a new version of the PS4. Now, it's not like, I'm just talking like a version for a game. Like they have the special edition Star Wars and the Call of Duty ones. Now this one, I really like this one. Normally I don't like these special edition PlayStations, but this one they've given a Final Fantasy 15 version of it. Now, just seeing that cover where it has the moon and then just the Roman numeral 15 on it, that looks really cool. Now, like I said, I'm not usually a fan of these. It says there it's the Luna edition. Um, Obviously, I'm guessing Luna having to do with the moon there. I don't know if it has anything to do with the character Luna Freya, who is a female a female main character in Final Fantasy 15 that we know so far. Um, but that looks really nice. I'd really like to see if the controller looks any different, if it has some sort of Roman numeral 15 or like that moon emblazoned on it as well. I don't know, but I really, really dig this though. And it doesn't have. Oh, I guess it does. Okay, so in Japan, it will be released November 29th, the day the Final Fantasy 15 is released. The only thing is that's a Japanese release. There's no word on when or if it will be released here in the West. I hope it is. I may not have the money to buy it, but for people who really love the franchise, myself included, this would be a really awesome gift. Or if your significant other, your boyfriend or girlfriend or wife or husband, or someone in your family you know that really enjoys Final Fantasy 15, and they were really looking to get a PlayStation 4, if this does end up coming out in the West, perfect gift for them. Now, I doubt it comes with the game. That's just the console itself, but still, good idea. One more story for the day. And this is, again, something cosmetic related. So for any of you that were getting stoked for it, there are two new Vita colors. Now, the video is not playing for me right now to actually show them, but IGN does have a video up displaying them. You can get them now in metallic red and silver. Now, I don't really see how this is going to help the Vita sales, but I guess, don't get me wrong, they do look really nice. But with Vita struggling the way it has, I don't know if this is going to encourage people to go out and buy a Vita, you know. I don't have a Vita. I personally don't see a need for it, but the bad thing is just mobile gaming is what's killing the handheld systems, whether it be the Vita or the DS, 3DS, whatever. Mobile gaming is killing that because almost everyone has a smartphone, and the access to these handheld games is just right at your fingertips. You know, you don't have to buy an expensive other device to play these games. And on top of the games, which are a lot more than mobile games, you know, most mobile games are 99 cents up to, you know, $4.99, you know, and that's a pretty expensive game. Most games are free to like $1.99. So while I do believe in what Sony is doing with their handhelds, it's just not for me. And I think a lot of other people have that mindset too. While I do hope that this helps the Vita. I personally just don't see how it's going to do that. And that's it for our news today. So, thank you for sticking around. If anything else happens from now until tomorrow's issue or episode, I will make sure to post that on the page. So stay tuned, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate it so much. The love and support has been awesome so far. Thank you guys so much. And I will see you guys tomorrow on the next episode of GameHead Now. And until then, keep poning those noobs.